So any one-handed mace of tier 4 or tier 5 quality, any one-handed axe of tier 5 quality, and also the tier 4 spiked battle axe and battle axe. Any tier 5 one-handed sword, and tier 4 one-handed swords of the Ild, Cascara, Paramarian, Arming Sword, Fleesa, War Sword, Spatha, or Saber variety are worth acquiring. The tier 3 Cleaver and War Sword are also worth your purchase. In Britannia, you'll find the tier 4 Highland War Spear. In Sturgia, you'll find the fine steel hewing spear, heavy Druznik lance, and the tier 3 Druznik lance. In the Khuzait towns, you'll find the noble cavalry lance and the thin steel hewing spear. In Asarai fiefs, you'll find the tier 3 long Damascene tipped spear and the tier 3 fine steel leaf spear. In the imperial towns, you'll find the Pugio. In any town except for Khuzait fiefs, you'll find the tribesman's throwing dagger. And in all of the towns, you'll find tier 3 wide leaf spears and tier 3 Damascene pikes, and also the wooden hammer and pitchfork, which can be smelted for wood, which you definitely want to do. So what I'm doing here is I'm laundering my trade goods. In this game, if you loot goods or acquire them through smelting, they don't actually count as trade goods. The only goods that you have bought from a vendor count as trade goods towards your trade EXP. So what we're doing is I sold him all of my blacksmithing trade goods except for the wood and the steel, and then I sold those to the markets at Shonen, and then I came back and bought all of those trade goods back. But I'm going to mitigate my losses by, once I bought my blacksmithing trade goods back, then I'm going to sell him all of my other trade goods so that I'm not actually operating at a loss, or at least minimizing those losses. And then once I've sold them all of the trade goods, I'm going to buy them back. And after having bought them all back, I will then sell him all of my horses, except for select few different groups of horses, so as to be able to sell those horses to the market at Shonen in order to reduce the value of the horses here at the caravan. I'm going to take back the Cantarian chargers, the mules, and the sturgeon natives and sell those horses in Shonen. And at the same time as selling those horses, I will buy back my wood and steel that I had sold previously. And now I'll buy back all of the horses that I had sold and sell all of these bardings and armor, ranged weapons, and weapons that I had acquired and stocked up for this purpose in order to mitigate my losses. We're only losing about 1.5 million gold, or it's only costing us about 1.5 million gold in order to launder all of our trade goods. And having done that, we will retire the Butcher King in favor of his heir, the Crown Prince. You'll see he's 25th level, has basically nothing leveled at all, and absolutely no trade skill levels. And we will make our way to Sanala with our Crown Prince as the main character of the campaign. And we'll wait until a caravan comes right within range of the door of Sanala. And then we will sell to him some armor so that we can be sure that he always has something in his inventory. And then we will sell him everything we have all at once. And in so doing, you'll see we've made a ton of trade skill levels and actual character levels as well. So after having sold everything, I will buy back the steel and the charcoal and the Valenby coursers, mules, and sturgeon natives. I'll take those and sell them in Sanala in order to reduce the price of those goods from the caravan. Now I bought back everything all at once, all of the trade goods all at once. And that was maybe unadvisable. But then I go to Sanala and I buy back the charcoal and steel. And then I'll buy back the horses from the caravan and sell all the trade goods except for the steel and charcoal. And you'll see I made character levels again. The reason why you're making character levels here is every time you perform a task that would yield EXP in a skill, you also gain EXP in your character's level. And what we're doing here is we're performing tasks that would give us a ton of trade EXP. And because we're getting a ton of trade EXP, we're also getting a ton of character level EXP. I got the idea for doing this when I watched Hero's video on how to use an exploit to level your trade skill past your hard cap. He recommended putting a bunch of attribute and focus points towards that end. But I looked at that and thought, why waste the attribute and focus points? Why not just do it right when you made a new character and use an absolute ton of resources and level your trade skill up to 300? To me, trade skill is pretty useless except for the perk that you get at 300, which I think everybody ought to be able to do that without any trade skill. Anyway, it wasn't until I watched a video put out by Easy Merked where he used the same method to level his trade skill. He didn't actually exploit and level past the hard cap, but he used like 300 of each blacksmithing resource in order to slowly but surely level his trade skill up to 330. And as he was doing that, I noticed that he was making character levels slowly but surely. And I thought, oh my goodness, if you're gaining trade skill, you're also gaining character level EXP. And if I did it on a much larger scale, then I could make character levels faster. So you'll see, after just this short period of time, we've made level 36. But why stop there? You just keep doing it. So anyway, it was from these videos that I had seen on YouTube about how to power level your trade skill that I realized that you could actually power level your character's level as well. And because I had prepared in my Black Lion campaign to power level my heir's trade skill all in one move, I was able to utilize this strategy to level my character. And you'll see that we've reached our series goal of getting to level 56. But why would you stop there? Because the character cap, the character level cap in this game is level 62. And with just a little bit more work, you can level your character all the way to level 62 and cap them out. Now, I have leveled my character almost to 61 without using this method, and I can tell you this is the way to go. Some people might call it an exploit, and certainly there are exploits to use, but actually making your level this way is not technically an exploit. You are utilizing the game's facilities to make your character levels. You're making trade EXP, and I think it's great because in your game there's so little you can actually do with the hordes of resources that you can acquire, but this is something you can do. I call it sending my character to college. I send my son to college, and now he is level 62, and I can build him as I like. I highly recommend saving your game before you spec your character, before you assign all of the attribute points and focus points. And I wanted to add that because I've had viewers or people that I've talked to say, "Well, why would you go to the bother? What difference does it make if your character's max character level when, eventually one day he's just going to die of old age?" Well, the thing is that your character's sons, like if you're playing a male character, its sons will start out at the same level as your character when they were conceived. So you'll see that my son here is starting at level 62. And so you only actually have to level your character to level 62 once in order to be able to enjoy having a maxed out character for the entire campaign. And I recommend making that what I call your forever campaign, where you don't make your goal the absolute conquest of Calradia, but rather the preservation of the kingdoms of Calradia. And that way you can always play that campaign. And there we have it. This is how I would recommend leveling your character, not only to level 56, but all the way to level 62. And obviously, you don't need to level to 62 in order to conquer Calradia. But if you enjoy the game as much as I do and you want to be able to maximize your experience playing it, I highly recommend maxing out your character level. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.